Hello, ladies and gents, boys and girls, people of all ages, sexualities, and identities, and welcome back to another film review. And today's review is a horror which I would say transcends the horror film itself. I think one of the biggest horrors in the world has got to come from humanity themselves. People are judged by black or white and many more things. But I think the most sinister and most sick version of this constant bigotry in the world has got to be when people are judged for things that they can't help that their body do. And this is exactly why I thought today would be the greatest point to do a review on the film Carrie. Carrie is a film about a young girl on her period who essentially gets bullied and tormented by her school for not knowing what to do within that scenario. And to make matters worse for Carrie, her mother is a very religious woman who pretty much takes any sign of her blood being leaving her body as a sign of sin. This predates the film as well on the basis that it has been a well-known thing in a lot of religions that back in the day in history, a lot of people did immediately assume that if someone had their period, they had lost their virginity, they'd lost their idea of pretty much being um, a sacred saint of their own freedom. For this reason, many people over the years have hidden it and have tried to essentially move through it without the embarrassment of being persecuted. And in this film, Carrie is no exception. And to make matters worse, she has a prom coming up. And essentially, she has no one to go with as she is seen around the school as the school freak. After the situation is subtly resolved, a lot of the bullies come up with a sinister plot to invite Carrie to the prom just in order to humiliate her in front of the whole year group. Her mother bounds and beats her and essentially forbids her from going to the prom, but when prom night comes around, Carrie does manage to sneak out and go to the prom after having a very serious talk with her mum and using some powers. However, Carrie, once she arrives at the prom, finds herself on a stage as the prom queen, only to be covered in pig's blood, which has been dropped from the ceiling. Now, this scene has been replayed in many editions of many different shows, just because of how significant it was and how powerful it was. Carrie then bursts out into rage and absolutely goes ham on her year group, using her powers against them after feeling so humiliated by her year group and her peers that she feels like she is no longer worth the time of day. And essentially, Carrie uses her powers to an extent in which she sadly overpowers her own self and dies in the town. A lot of lives are lost, and a very important lesson is learned by the end of the film. So, what was my overall opinion on Carrie as a whole? It is a very phenomenal film, has some very good ties, and the most important thing I love about the film is the idea that it's not just a generic horror film, it's a horror film that plays on the cynicism and the bigotry of our real world. It plays on the bigotry and the discrimination and also the degradation that people treat people with in the world. And for that reason, I give Carrie a solid 7 out of 10. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next film review.